English Nomad here, and this is episode number 31. And in today's episode I'm just going to give everyone an update as to what I've been doing on the camper build project. It has been about a week since my last video. In my last video I was showing the progress of the plumbing. Since then I've been working quite hard to get the interior finished. So let's go and take a look at what I've been doing. So as you can see, here's the LandCruiser parked outside of the house at the moment. I've just given it a nice wash. It was getting a bit dirty with the rain we had last week. You can probably hear my dog scratching at the door. He probably wants to come out. Come on then. Okay, so some of the little fiddly jobs I've been doing is, as you can see here, I've now fitted the lock for the door. I had to make a box, a lock box, to house the lock, and that does the job. You can see there, that's the lock installed. So now the door is locked. So yeah. So that's the mortise lock. I'm going to fit a latch as well so that I can just close the door too and it doesn't blow open. So let's just step inside, and straight away you can see that the kitchen units, as far as the aluminium frame work, is all complete. I've started cutting the timber for the worktop. It's marine plywood, 15mm thick, and then it's got additional 15mm pieces glued to it to double the thickness in all the key areas, and that's going to get stained and varnished. So what I'm trying to achieve is with the wood is to get that nice natural finish. All of the panels are hardwood, laminated plywood. You can see there, that's where the fridge is going to go, and you can see the cable there for the electrics for the fridge. And all of the tops for the dinette area are cut. I need to fix them. I'm not going to bother varnishing these because they're going to have cushions on them, but I will have to put some hinges and latches and that kind of thing on there. All of the fascia panels on the units have been cut for the diner area. I haven't quite decided yet whether I'm going to just glue them, or I actually think glue and rivets, stainless steel rivets for strength, and obviously I'm going to have to seal and varnish them. As you can see, I had to make the framework for the panels to attach to. That was very time consuming, as a lot of these jobs tend to be. All of these areas inside of the kitchen will also have angles. I run out of aluminium angle. So as you can see, I'll just take this one out. You can see the angles, and that's how they'll mount, so that the boards are flush with the aluminium box section. That's the what I've done with the edge of the worktop is that's two thicknesses of the plywood. It's been glued together. I'm going to sand that. I'm going to fill any of these little voids that are showing. I'll sand that back, and then when I varnish the worktop, this will come up really nice. You'll see all the layers of the plywood through the varnish. I really like that effect. So that'll be the kitchen worktop. That's the taps for the sink. Not sure I'm going to use the sink that I bought. A couple of reasons. One, it's much bigger than I thought it would be, so it's going to be really pain to fit. And I think I'm just going to have a single bowl. Have a single bowl in this area, like a round bowl, and then mount the taps straight through the plywood. Like that, with a single round bowl there. This box is going to house food storage, so it's going to be a little cupboard. All this under here is going to be food storage as well. So that's where I'm up to with the interior fit out. Once I get this portion done, I can then turn my attention to the bed. Although this area here that we're looking at right now with a dinette is going to have a table which will fit into the space in the middle, the void in the middle, and that will then become a sleeping area as well. Hopefully I can configure the cushions in a way that will fill that area out and become a sleeping area if I've got guests or someone wants to come camping with me who's not going to sleep in the same bed as me. They can sleep down here. So yeah, hopefully this will be able to sleep 2 or 3 people really comfortably. So I'm going to put the camera down now and then give you an overview of what else is happening. Hi, back again. So a couple of the things that I'm going to be working on over the next couple of weeks will be getting the timber portion of the install done, completed. So the sealing and varnishing of all these infill panels which sit in these areas here. You can't see that, but all these panels will need to be given a light sanding, sealed, and then a nice yacht varnish or something just to finish them off. The other part of the project that I want to concentrate on is the jacking legs. So I've got one of the jacking legs here. It's actually quite a heavy object. This is one of the jacking legs. Just get the handle. So basically it goes up and down as you crank this handle, and you can use a drill or an electric driver to turn this. What I've had to do is because of the way that I'm going to use these the jacks going into the opening in the side of the camper, where the jacking points that you've seen in previous videos, I had to have some laser cut plates done. So I've had 8 of these laser cut plates made, which are in the configuration shown here. So they're held on the up this member here by 6 bolts, which will hold them tight on there, and then I could adjust the height of this accordingly. And then what it will have on is it'll have a piece of box section welded to it there with a gusset plate here to strengthen it, and that's what will slide into the opening on the on the side of the camper. Obviously that's going to be on this side because that's where you jack it from, so it will be like that. They'll slide into the opening, and then I can then jack the camper off the tray. So that's going to be a part of the project I want to get done next, because I'm planning a camping trip the end of February, and I want to be able to try this out. It may not be completed, it may not be completely finished, but it should be at a stage where it can be used, albeit with bits and pieces still to finish. One of the things that I want to do is sort the electrical lights out. These are the lights here. That's the remote control box. So it's going to have a remote control which also dims the lights. And these are the LED lights here. I've been using them while I work at night in here. There's going to be one strip of LEDs on each of the walls pointing down, mounted on this surface here pointing down. One across the back here, and I'll probably have a reading light up in here for when I'm up. This is where the bed's going to be, as you recall, and that should be a sufficient amount of lighting for the camper. And lighting is something you can always add additional lights as you go. This system that I'm using is made by Core Lighting. It's quite easy to upgrade, although I'm going to get away from these plugs because what I find is sometimes you get a bad connection and they don't always, you've got to fiddle about with it. So I'm going to cut the plugs off and I'm going to solder all the connections. So once I decide where they're going to go, I will run my cables to the length that I want and then solder each of the connections and do away with these plugs. That way I know I've got reliable connections. And these plugs are actually quite bulky. I want to try and hide the cables in there. There's a gap between the wall and here. I want to be able to tuck the cables up there. You can see how the cable will tuck up inside that gap. So I will run all my cables around there and then just drill a small hole for the cable to come out where the light is actually going to be, because it'll sit right up like that, and then the installation will look extremely tidy and neat. So yeah, I think another couple of strips. I think I've got 3 of these strips at the moment. I need a couple more. They do 1 meter length ones, and what I was thinking is putting a single 1 meter length one on the back there to light up the kitchen. 2 of the 400, I think the 450mm or 460mm ones on each wall, and probably a single one along the back here which will be a 400, because this whole area will have quite a lot of light, and plus it can be dimmed. It can be it's quite easy to dim it on the remote control. It's got an up and down arrow. Okay, so I'll give you a bit of a demonstration with the lights. You can see I've got the remote control here, so that's the lights come on, and if I go for the you'll see that the light's going down now. LEDs, for whatever reason, don't show up particularly great on video. They tend to flicker. But you can see how bright they are. So just switch that off. There you go. So yeah, that's the lights. I've got another set of these lights which are going to be for the outside, and they are the orange and white, so that you can select between a white light or you can select it to be an orange light. so that the orange apparently keeps the insects away. So that's what will be on the outside, in the outside living area of the camper. I'm going to have an awning on the side, and that's where those lights will be. So hopefully by the time I do the next video, the inside will be somewhat complete. I have been in discussions with a company to supply the cushions, all the cushions that go here and the cushions that go around the backrests. And I've also been talking to the same company about some custom mattresses for my bed, which will be up here. So hopefully I'll have some news on that too in the next video. But apart from that, progress has been going really well. A lot of the jobs that I'm doing now are quite time consuming, but don't really look like a great deal of work. You know, like down here where these boards fit in the box section frames, I've had to put aluminium angles which these fit to, and that in itself took me well, probably about six hours of cutting the aluminium and drilling and riveting it in place. So it's jobs like that that are very time consuming. So so please bear with me. The job has reached that point where it's all the finicky little detailed stuff to get it across the finishing line. But hopefully in the next few weeks, the big exciting news that I want to announce is that I'm going to be doing the first ever lift of the camper onto the back of the LandCruiser. So if you go back through my videos, you'll be aware that I had the bare panels loosely assembled on the back of the LandCruiser just to see how it looked and the fit and everything. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm going to be lifting the completed camper onto the back of the LandCruiser, and that will be the real acid test as to how it all fits together. I have no doubt it will fit, but it's going to be a bit of a moment for me, that first initial lift, and how I'm going to do that lift. At the moment, the way I'm planning on doing it is rolling the camper out on wheels, on casters, onto the driveway outside, and then I'll jack it up manually with my trolley jack to a height that I can get these jacks on. And what I'll probably have to do is I'll probably have to set the height of this bracket to the lowest point, jack it up until the jacks are fully extended, and then drop the camper down onto some trestles, and then reset the height of these brackets to the highest point, and then from there jack it up to the height where my vehicle can drive under it. So it may be a process that takes me several hours to complete, but once it's been lifted up once, I don't want to have to put it back on the ground. Once it's been lifted to the height where it's going to be able to go on and off the truck, it's going to stay roughly at that height, or maybe a little bit lower, sitting on trestles. I don't want to have to put it back down on the deck and go through the process of getting it up in the air again. So that's the plan, and I plan to video the process. It'll probably be time lapse and sections speeded up, but yeah, I'm hoping to do a video of that first lift so you can see what's involved in getting it from where it is right now, which is almost on the floor, to a metre in the air. I've measured the tray from the ground on the LandCruiser, and it's roughly a metre. So I've got to get it up there, and I'm going to use these jacks to do it. So I'll give you another update next week and on what's happening. I'm actually away all week this coming week for work. I'm going to be away from home, so there's not going to be anything happening on the camper for the next 4 or 5 days. Next weekend I plan to get stuck into the treatment of the timber, and then after that these jacking legs. So the next few weeks there will be progress may slow down slightly, but rest assured, come February it will be very exciting times, because that's when I have planned to have the majority of these jobs finished, and for all intents and purposes the project will be pretty much finished. Lots of little bits and bobs to finish off as I go, but the big percentage of work will be complete. So tell me what you think in the comments below. As always, like this video. Please share this video. It's really important to the YouTube algorithm if people do like and share the videos. You know, it elevates me up in the search when people search for videos. If I've got a subscriber base that supports me, so please continue to support me. Please subscribe. Don't forget to click the little bell icon if you're a new subscriber, so that you get the updates. And until next time, Mike signing off. See you later, guys.